Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Transformational Tuesday. We're talking about letting go of the false narratives, right? All this month we're talking about unlocking your potential. And this week we're talking about letting go of false narratives. On today, Transformational Tuesday, we're talking about um unlearning, right? Unlearning is healing, you guys. Unlearning is healing. All right. Think this is going to be an exciting session. So, listen, unlearning is a form of healing. It is Transformational Tuesday, and I'm ready to talk about this, right? Um, I have always been a person, a component of where your intention goes, your energy flows, right? And I think that a lot of times we have this idea to do more, be more, um, yeah, like in this whole transformation or healing space, it's as if we want to, add on, right? Add on. And so the whole stopping now mythology is really like, let's stop. All right, let's stop. Let's stop adding on. Let's stop. Let's pause. All right. And do something different. All right. And in that space, this do something different is this unlearning. Listen, we all have stories, we have beliefs and behaviors that we've learned, right? Which keep us stuck. Okay. These stories, they keep us stuck. All right. We all have them. Okay. Um, so we all have these stories and beliefs that keep us stuck. And today we're actually going to talk about releasing what does not serve us, right? And what that means is it's just not working for you anymore. All right. And make room for what is working or what will work for you, right? It's time to really unlearn the beliefs that has held us back. All right. So that we can create space for healthier, more empowering truths. All right, here's a truth bomb for you. Unlearning is an act of freedom. All right, when you release old beliefs, you really free yourself to live authentic authentically. All right, just living in your truth. All right, so this session is really about breaking down these old beliefs, releasing emotional detachments, and really reclaiming your true self. Okay, you are not bound to the stories that you've been taught. All right, or the patterns that you have been running on. All right, remember, we're not broken. What we're patterned. All right, and you're not bound to those patterns you have that have been running the show. All right, you have the power to create these new mental pathways that really support your growth. All right, so I have a question for you on this morning. What old belief are you ready to let go so that you can make room for something more aligned? All right, so you can make room for something more aligned that really supports your growth. Remember, all this week, right, we're talking about letting go, right? Letting go of this old narrative. All right, letting go of the old narrative. And why are we letting go of this old narrative? So we can unlock our potential, right? And that is our focus for this month, really unlocking our potential. What is my why for this morning? Because I believe that unlearning is the one of the most powerful tools, all right, in healing and growth. We are all, right, born with this limitless potential, all right? This limitless potential. Yet over time, guess what? We adapt beliefs and stories that really hold us back. So these beliefs often keep us stuck in patterns and prevent us from really fully embracing our true self. So today's lesson, all right, is really about unlearning those outdated narratives so that you can what? Finally step into the life you were meant to live. All right, one that aligns with your true purpose and your power, you guys, and your power. All right. So, my disclosure on this morning is this session is truly about recognizing and unlearning the old beliefs that you've been limited. That has been limiting your growth. However, we know that true transformation doesn't start with awareness alone, you guys. While identifying the beliefs is the first step, the real shift comes with what? Action. All right, it comes with action. So this is an ongoing journey, right? And I encourage you to lean into it. All right, lean into it with some curiosity, right? Challenge your beliefs and take the steps necessary to really start to rewire your mind. All right, the true magic really starts to happen when you commit to a practice of unlearning and relearning, okay, with consistency. So we're unlearning to relearn, okay? All right, so the purpose of today's lesson is to really, again, unlearn and release these old unhelpful beliefs. All right. The good news is that unlearning is not a punishment, you guys, it's a healing process. All right. By removing these limiting beliefs, we really make room for new empowered truths, right? And it helps to create the mental pathway space that allows you to what elevate your life. All right. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Unlearning is healing. Unlearning is healing, you guys. All right. Here's a real life focus. Limiting beliefs such as I am worthy, I am not worthy, I have to prove myself, I am not enough, and I can't change are common hurdles that that hold people back. All right. But these beliefs often stem from past traumas, cultural conditioning, and familiar or family narratives. So is on today we're focusing on these beliefs and really embracing truths that align with who you really are. So good morning. Let's take our deep breath on this morning. All right. Breathing in, breathing in the newness, right? The newness, the new habits, the new things that we want to learn. And then really releasing any resistance to unlearning some things. All right. Unlearning some things. So know that in life things are happening all the time, and whether we know it or not, our body is feeling that. All right. And sometimes our nervous system can really shut down or make us not feel the emotion, and or we can try to analyze or think our way through an emotion. And so these moments is really to get us back in our body and really feeling again. So just take a deep breath again for me. Just breathe out. Just feeling your body, right? Just filling up your lungs and doing a conscious breath. All right. What we know is that when we're under stress, pressure, and anxiety, right, the body stops breathing. All right. So we go into a very shallow breath. And this is another reason why habits like smoking and things like that are so prevalent, because what they do, they allow you to breathe, right? So you're inhaling, you're exhaling when you're smoking cigarettes or you're smoking marijuana or you're vaping or whatever. And that sensation of breathing in and out, right, is really the relief that we're getting, that is happening, the relief of the anxiety that you're getting, right? So we can do that, though. We can do that without the substance. So we can take a conscious breath, right? Without the cigarette, without the, vape, without the marijuana. And I'm not judging that. I'm just saying that we can take a cleansing breath, right? We can take a cleansing breath. All right, feeling our feet on the floor on this morning, right? Our legs, just bringing some compassion into our bodies on this morning. All right. Feeling our butts in the seat and just thanking our bodies, right? Feeling our bodies, loving our bodies. Again, we want other people to love on us, right? To accept us. And we model that for people. So we have to start loving and accepting who we are. All right. All right. Up our spine, all of the nerves, right? The spine is such a miraculous, fabulous structure, right? It has all these nerves, these nerve endings. So just bringing some attention to that. All right, up our necks. All right. And then our torso. Okay. Like all of our intestines, just bringing some attention and some love into that space. All right. Our intestines, our stomach, right? Just thanking it for doing, digesting what we give it effortlessly. All right. Filling our hearts on this morning. If we have heavy hearts, all right, allowing it to be there, just not judging that heaviness, allowing it to be there, but just recognizing it on this morning. If we feel relief, all right, we don't have to judge it as good or bad, just feeling it, right? All right, if we're in love this morning because we met somebody, right, just letting that come in. And if we may feel a little hurt on this morning, right, just kind of allowing space for us to feel that, all right, without judging it as good or bad. All right. The weight again that just comes with life. Remember, we don't have to do anything to get stinking, right? But we do have to do stuff to smell good. So this weight that comes on us is just going to naturally come. We don't have to judge it, right? But we are responsible for what? For releasing it. So on this morning, let's release that weight. All right. Let's let it go down our arms, activating our hands up our face, right? Filling our mouths, right? Our lips, our nose, our eyes, all right? Activating our brain on this morning, whatever thoughts that we have, not judging them, but just activating them, all right? The space around our ears, I really want us to practice softening that space, right? So we can be able to receive, right? Receive what we're hearing. A lot of times we have what I call hard ears. So we hear very defensively, very victim minded. And I just want to bring some softness around the ears so we can hear differently on this morning. And then bringing attention to what the biggest organ in our bodies, our skin. All right. It does some miraculous things. It keeps us all pulled together. So thanking our skin. All right. Right. And if it's itchy or if it's dry or whatever, just thanking it for doing what it does. Put a little lotion on it this morning. But this morning, energetically, we're just going to love it. Okay. All right, we're gonna love it. I used to, when I was in my 20s, I really had to learn how to take care of my skin, right? I would just jump out the tub and just throw my clothes on. And, my ankles would be dry, my legs would be dry. And it's just like, I really felt like that was only for events, right? Like I'm gonna take time to lotion my body. And in my 20s, because I, did hair, and so I would just, take a bath, throw my jogging pants and things like that. And I remember getting like a seaweed wrap or something like that. And she basically, was putting this moisture on my skin. And she was like, your skin, is like really dry. And in my 20s, I knew something had to change. And so I really started to incorporate a 5 minute, I'm going to feel my body, lotion my body, oil up my body. All right. It's just so important for us to take care of our bodies, you guys. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me know how you feeling this morning. Drop a word in the chat. How are you feeling on this morning? How are you feeling on this morning? All right. Let me know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good on this morning. I'm feeling good about this conversation. Good morning, Dietrich. All right. Good morning, Gladys. All right. She said, I'm willing to let go of, she said, good morning. I'm willing to let go of my unlearning. I actually been reading Rich Dad Cash Flow Quoting, and I wish I would have read it years ago. That's a great, listen, I'm that is so good that you're taking in new information, and new information, right, really can challenge what we already know, or it can bring up this feeling, friend, right, where it's like, man, I wish I would have known this a long time ago. And although that feeling is coming up and I know it very well, I want to encourage you to thank yourself for picking up the book today. All right, just thank yourself for picking up the book today and saying, man, I'm so happy that I finally picked this book up and I'm learning something different about money, right? The more we can give power to our current moment, right? The more we can give power to the current moment and the things that we're doing now, the more powerful it is, right? But a lot of times when we're learning new information, we do have this feeling of, man, if I would have knew this in my 20s, if I would have, and guess what, friend? We all do it, right? We all do it. This is not any judgment. We all do it, right? But what we have to start doing is thanking ourselves for finally doing it, right? Coming to a space in your life where you're picking up a book and learning about finance, you know, that you're learning about cash flow and all of these things, right? And that is to be celebrated. All right. That is to be celebrated, because what you're doing is you change the trajectory experience. Because once you learn something, you can never unlearn it. All right. All right. Good morning, cousin Debbie. All right. Good morning, cousin Debbie. And she said that feel good not to, and that she breathed, right? All right. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Who is the session for on this morning? Listen, this session is for you if you've been struggling with limiting beliefs that really keep you stuck. Okay. All right. If you're tired of letting outdated narratives, and again, when I say outdated narratives, it's just outdated stories, right? If you find yourself saying the same thing over and over and over again, right? Or you find yourself saying, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen, or, I was just talking about that and I don't want to experience this, right? If you find yourself stuck in experiencing the very thing that you didn't want to experience, or the very thing that you talked about that you didn't want to experience, but you find yourself experiencing that. Listen, that's an outdated narrative. Okay. All right. It's attached to a belief. All right. And your energy is focused on that. And so today is really about it's really about if you're struggling with these narratives that's keeping you stuck. And if you're tired of letting these outdated stories really define you, all right, it's time to unlearn them. All right, unlearn these stories to create what? Space for new truths. All right, here's our quote for this morning. Unlearning is not about forgetting what you've learned. All right, unlearning is not about forgetting what you learned. It's just about reclaiming what you already knew to be true about yourself. All right, so again, I don't want the brain to be like, unlearning. No, it's really just about this whole unlearning process is it's about lifting that belief, just peeling it back enough so you can reclaim what you already know. All right. There's an intelligence in us that knows what's true for you. All right. What's true for you. And you have the potential to be in relationship with that. And a lot of times you're not in relationship with that truth, that divine truth, because this learned thing about you is covering it up. So we just want to peel that back. All right. But you're not going to forget that. All right. We're just making room for this other thing to emerge. All right. So here's some things about unlearning. Unlearning is not easy. All right. It's not an easy thing. Listen, changing your mindset, it takes time and effort and energy, right? It's about dismantling years of beliefs, of patterns, and replacing them with healthier, growth oriented thoughts. All right. But that's not easy, you guys, right? It's not easy to pull these layers back, but it's doable. All right. Unlearning, it's about healing. All right. Unlearning is an act of self-care and healing. All right. You're shedding the weight of old stories that no longer serve you. That is healing, you guys. That is healing because you're changing how you see yourself. I think that what came up in my spirit, what I just heard was the scales, right? It's kind of like removing the scales from your eyes. All right. And I think they talk about that in the Bible. All right. Listen, you are not stuck in your past. I want you to know that you're not stuck in your past. Just because you believe something for years, right, doesn't mean that it's your truth. All right. You have the power to redefine your identity and your story. You have the power to do that. All right. You have the power to redefine your identity in your story. You're not stuck in your past. Okay. You're not stuck there. All right. You control what you believe. All right. You control. No one can detect your beliefs for you. Not at this big age of an adult. All right. Not at this big age of an adult. And sometimes we're yielding that to people because we're so we so fear, right? Getting it wrong or thinking wrong or being wrong that we will yield. Well, what should I believe or what should I think? Okay. And then that in our minds, we think that takes us off the hook from being responsible. But at this big age of an adult, you're responsible for every decision that's made, whether you yielded it to somebody else or not, you're still responsible as an adult. All right. All right. So no one can control what you believe. No one else can detect your belief. By questioning what you've been taught, right? You can align your beliefs with your highest potential. And again, I know that challenges you if you are an indecisive person or you just don't trust yourself, but that's what the work is. The work is in trusting you. All right. Your beliefs shape your reality. All right. So the beliefs that you hold about yourself in this world really shape the opportunities that show up for you. I know that you probably don't believe that, but as a man thinketh, so is he. And that is what you see. All right. The things that you believe. All right. And so if you want to see something different in this life, then you have to what? Um, you have to start believing something different. All right. The opportunity cost of clinging to old beliefs is real. There is a cost to it by holding on to these limiting beliefs. Guess what? You sacrifice your potential, you sacrifice your peace and your future growth. Listen, unlearning these beliefs open up a space for new opportunities. It's just so important for us to really understand that there is an opportunity cost. And I'm going to talk about this opportunity cost later on to you holding on to the what you believed in your 20s, what you believed in your teenage years, what you believe about anything that's limiting you from getting the thing that you desire. If you have a belief about money that's not in alignment with abundance, then you need to unlearn that belief, right? And I'm also going to go through what that looks like, because I do think that this whole conversation about unlearning is important, right? But it's also can challenge the mind. Like, what does that mean to unlearn? So we're going to walk through that, all right? Listen, unlearning breaks cycles, all right? What often